What's up, guys? We got one here from Cosmic Verse. Let's get into it.
Things I wish I knew before becoming a group. You got to keep this lifestyle on the down low because it just gets weird when you have kids the same age as the people you're dating. It's just a little weird. If your son has friends about the age of the guys you date, they will find you. Okay, for instance, I'm 50 and the last one I had was 25 and my sons are 30 and 24. Make sure when you're in yoga classes with other moms your age, make sure that you're not dating any of their sons.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
So we got a 50-year-old mom dating men half her age and one of them younger than her own son. I don't know if I should say cougar or hag maxing. I mean, which would be the appropriate one here? I mean, here's the kicker. This just isn't weird. It's cringeworthy. It's a symptom of the feminist you-go girl narrative that glorifies a woman's freedom while ignoring how this affects her kids and family dynamics. Dating someone your son could be hanging out with, I guess that's how you'd win Mom of the Year. Men aren't looking for women who blur the lines between partner and peer. This isn't empowerment's dysfunction, plain and simple.
So I saw a TikTok the other day from a woman who had just hit her 40s and she feels like she has become invisible since doing that. And she hates it. She has spent her life being beautiful and seen. Now, here's the thing. I look at this video and I see this woman and I think she is still utterly beautiful. But this is her own perception, and maybe compared to the 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds, she's not got as much attention as she has always had. Now I'm finding the same thing and loving it. I love the freedom of not having to care about what anyone else thinks. I want to become invisible. I don't want any male attention or female. I want to do things for me. I'm wearing the jewellery I want to wear. I'm wearing the hats that I want to wear, the clothing. I am buying things as a newly single woman in my house for me that I love, and I don't care what anyone else thinks. So I would say if you are starting to feel like you're in your 40s, you're invisible, embrace it. You can do whatever the hell you want without worrying about what anyone else thinks.
Midlife crisis masquerading as self-discovery. I'm invisible and I love it. Which really translates to nobody's checking for me anymore. Now it's time to pretend I don't care. I mean, let me be real. This woman isn't free. She's coping. After decades of leveraging beauty for attention, the game's over. Now she's just salty. Men aren't oppressing you by looking at younger women. It's biology. Instead of embracing bitterness, how about introspection? The strong, independent woman act is just an echo chamber of denial. You didn't need ass. You need humility.
Let me tell you the first time I felt invisible. So there I was. Monaco, fancy restaurant. I dressed well, on Australian standards at least. Waiting for service, and waiting, and waiting. I wasn't being ignored because I looked like a tourist. I was being ignored because I wasn't chic enough. Society glorifies you. You see it in movies, in boardrooms, in the workplace. Women, especially professionals, and high-achieving ones are taught to serve first, shine later. Except later never comes.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Invisible at a fancy restaurant. Seriously? Hate to break it to you, but this isn't some grand societal conspiracy. You're not invisible because you're a woman. You were ignored because you overplayed the strong, independent professional stereotype. Nobody owes you recognition because you checked off all the career boxes. Feminism promised women they could have it all, but here's a reality check. Life doesn't work that way. The society glorifies youth and value, neither of which comes from being too chic for service. Entitlement doesn't look good on anyone, regardless of gender.
I'm seeing this narrative go around social media a lot where only 80% of women want the top 20% of men or something like that.
Right. I have also seen that. So what about that is a fallacy? Because it certainly seems, based on everything that we've seen, that 80% of the women do, in fact, want 20% of those top-tier high-value men.
What I have to say about that is you need to ask yourself, why is there so few high-value men?
That's a very good question. But I think the first question that we really need to ask is what actually constitutes a high-value man? Because that answer can vary widely from one person to the next. But the consensus that I have seen, unfortunately just on social media, usually has to do with a man and his ability to be a provider. But is there more to it than how much a man makes? Yes, occasionally someone will mention how tall a man is, or what their physical body type is like, but that does not necessarily make a man high value just by how much money he makes. So what exactly is a high value man?
Got Lady J laying some more truth out there. But here we go again with the 80% of women chasing 20% of men. Surprise, this isn't a fallacy. It's hypergamy in action. Women are wired to seek high value men, but then they turn around and whine when there aren't enough. Ladies, the high value man isn't just rich and tall. He's a rare combination of discipline, character, and resources. And he has his pick of the litter because he's got 80% of you chasing after him. Feminism tells women to never settle. And guess what? When you demand the top 20% and reject everyone else, you create a lopsided dating market. And these top tier men aren't even going to chase after most of you because entitlement isn't attractive.
Being 42 and single can be hard, especially on a Sunday. And I've never noticed this. Anything in the morning, I'm fine with. Going for a walk, going to a matinee with all the other weirdos. I love that. I love that time. But the moment it hits noon, I saw this today when I felt like, okay, I need to get out of the house. I need to do something for myself and I'm going to go for a walk. And all I see are couples with their dogs. And I play this sick game where I just avoid humans. And if you see my map, walking, every time I switch the street side is because I'm avoiding humans. It's almost like brunch time is over and you're just supposed to be with people. Otherwise you're this lone loser. And it reminds you that you don't have anybody to share your life with. And yes, I could technically make plans, do something with friends. But sometimes you do want to have that significant other.
You're a damaged goods lady.
42 single and avoiding people like it's an Olympic sport. I mean, loneliness hits hard when the feminist dream fades. I mean, look, having brunch and walking a dog is nice, but they won't hold your hand in a storm. Wanting a partner but refusing to engage with humans is the pinnacle of self-sabotage. You play the I don't need a man game and now realize too late that independence isn't all it's cracked up to be. Men aren't interested in rescuing someone who spent decades demonizing them. Look, reality hurts, but it's not men's fault you feel alone.
I divorced my high school sweetheart after 5 years of marriage and 4 babies. And I recently started dating. And let me tell you something that I've noticed we do. Myself and several of my friends have gotten out of either marriages or long-term relationships that were abusive, either physically, emotionally, verbally, toxic. Maybe the partner didn't hold their weight, whatever. I'm not just speaking to my experience. And I've noticed something that we start dating and we meet someone and they're doing the bare minimum and we think it's everything.
This is another narrative that's just getting old. Like, how the f*** does it take you 5 years, but not only 5 years, okay, you're kind of dumb, you're naive, you don't know any better, but 4 children? So he was toxic and abusive and all of these things for 5 years, and you still decided to pop out 4 children with him. Like, make that make sense. Like, is it one of those situations where you think that a baby is going to make the relationship better? But then what gets me is you literally tell on yourselves because then you say you have a bunch of friends that are going through the same thing or have been through the same thing. And what do you think that is? Y'all are in each other's ears talking about how miserable you all are. One person will say, oh, my husband's manipulative. So what does that do? You start to think, oh, maybe my husband is manipulative too. So you start seeing him as a liar, a cheater, doesn't tell the truth, is a horrible person because all of your friends are also in your ear. But not only that is your friends, once they become single, will then make you think that the grass is greener on the other side. So you all end up divorced, miserable, and unhappy, supposedly because of a toxic relationship. If it's so damn toxic, then why did you have 4 children? Why didn't you stop at 1 child? Because you knew long before you had baby 2, 3, and 4 that he was toxic. And then y'all get online and talk about the bare minimum this and the bare minimum that and the dating scene sucks. But what have you actually done to heal yourself other than break up your family and talk shit on the internet? Like, really? And the funny thing about it is you're going to actually expect somebody else who's not the father of your children to take on 4 kids willingly. Like, what delusional world are y'all living in? And if he has kids of his own, guess what? You end up with like fucking 6 kids. Like, it's just freaking wild to continuously come on the internet and talk about how abusive somebody is when you chose to have 4 children with him. You have friends that are divorced and miserable, and y'all are doing the same shit expecting a different result. Okay, bye.
No, she's not wrong. I mean, 4 kids with a toxic, abusive man, and let's call it what it is, it's accountability dodging at its finest. And just like she said, if it was so bad, why keep having kids? It's easier to blame him than admit you ignored red flags, and now you're online expecting some saint to play stepdad to 4 kids while you cry bare minimum about men. No high value man wants a bitter ex dragging emotional baggage and a broken family into his life. And to add on top of that, toxic friends. Because birds of a similar feather flock together. You're all going to bicker, bitch about your men until you all feel the same way that my man is this, my man is that, and he probably ain't doing any of it. I mean, look, feminism sold you a dream that marriage and kids were oppressive, and now you're just lonely complaining on the internet. The problem? It's you. Well, guys, modern feminism, family law, and social media have sold women a false narrative that destroys families and relationships. Men are waking up, going their own way, or finding traditional partners abroad. Women must drop the entitlement, take accountability, and understand the value of cooperation. Want solutions? Reform family laws, stop glamorizing hypergamy, and rebuild the family unit. Guys, focus on self-improvement and set boundaries. The elite wants division, just don't give it to them. Well, guys, that's the end of the video here today. If you like what you've seen, hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Drop me a comment down below what you think, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.